Hey folks, how's it going? It's been a while now that I've been stuck in the same daily loop in Genshin and I wanted to break out of it a little. The main purpose of this video is going to be to figure out what to do and where to go next. Progression wise, the open world doesn't really pose a challenge now that Ganyu one-shots almost everything, and the domains usually last around 1 minute. The only content towards which to work would be to just get faster clears in Abyss for more stars and maybe some challenge events. In order to do that, I think it might be time to start investing into other characters, especially since I would consider Ganyu to be at a decent stopping point. She's got an SHD attack, the prototype Crescent is sadly still waiting for refinement, and artifact-wise I think she's okay. Pretty much a perfect flower, or red plume as well despite the 60 flat defense, okay-ish sands, and a so-and-so cryo damage bonus goblet. But it's an on-set one with 20% crit damage, so I'm not going to complain too much. Lastly, the only crit damage circlet with somewhat acceptable stats that has ever come out of that domain in a month and a half of farming, with most of my resin as well as 2 refills a day. It's nothing shiny, but I'm going to call it here. Stats wise, 35% crit rate is enough for this set and 200% crit damage is okay as well. She is suffering a bit on the elemental mastery and energy recharge departments, but I can still work with her. As far as levels go though, I don't think I want to bring her up to 90 yet. The increase in stat doesn't seem big enough to justify the amount of meds and mora that should go into it. I would rather level up other characters instead. As for the rest of the team, the second best build character at this point is Ling, even if her build is a bit weird. She's got decent attack, pretty high elemental mastery, okay crit rate and damage, and a lot of energy recharge. For her weapon, I've got lucky enough to pull a Primordial Jade Spear, which feels like a decent upgrade over the Crescent Pike, if anything due to its crit rate main stat. As for the artifacts themselves, she's on a 2-piece Bloodstain and 2-piece Crimson Witch. Stats wise, it's mostly crit rate and damage with pretty high elemental mastery subs. Since I wanted to use her more as a sort of main DPS, I couldn't really choose between physical and pyro damage for her cap, so she's keeping an attack one. In the end, she's getting off 15 to 17k melts with Goba, and I've seen her Q hit for 30k per rotation, so I'm pretty satisfied with her. MC has been abandoned a bit. I've been using her as an animo support, but she just has some random iridescent veneer pieces. Sadly, she still has 4 stars on, but I do enjoy being able to collect and relocate enemies with her Q while shooting arrows in it with Ganyu. I'm not a big fan of the GUMC, but I am looking forward to Inazuma and the Electro element for her. Barbara has a kind of a garbage noblesse oblige set on her, but she doesn't really need anything outside of HP and energy recharge. Noelle has finally gotten her white blind and a pretty nice geo damage bonus cap. Despite being only C4 and still having an HP sense and a bad circlet, she's reaching 10k autos with her Q, which is pretty fun. Kaya has gotten pretty lucky with the hands me down from Ganyu, but most of his stuff will be stripped and given to Ayaka once she comes out. Still, she's going to need a new cryo damage bonus goblet and another crit damage circlet, for which I hope I won't have to farm for another month. Weapon wise, I've got a black sword ready, and between it and the artifact set, I should already be good on crit rate. It's 25% from the weapon, 20% from the Blizzard Strayer, and another 21% from the artifacts currently on Kaya. Visual has also gotten a bit of an upgrade lately. I've finished leveling up the Stringless and she's finally gotten a full 5-star artifact set, even if the quality is so and so. Her sands still hurts to look at since after 2 rolls into crit rate, everything went into flat stats, but she's gotten a decent on-set Electro Cap and went on to steal Mona's crit circlet. Her elemental mastery is a bit low for my taste, but I don't think I want to go back in the Electro domain for now. Lisa is another character I would like to try and fix up a bit, even if I mostly use her in Abyss for her Q. I would very much like to be able to get her up to C4 though. For now, it's Favonius Codex with some energy recharge for her, and I've got to see if she can get some noblesse. Maybe. Ember is the only character I've got some wondrous troop on, and they're mostly crit damage focused. The cap got a bit too much defense, and the circlet, well, got nothing but defense. Upgrading her set is another reason why I want to go back and kill some open world bosses, as well as trying to get a few more gladiator pieces for either Klee or Ningguang. And so we land on the 2 build characters. First in the list is Mona, and I really don't know what to do with her. I think she's supposed to be more of a support DPS character with a strong burst, but using a character just for their Q feels a bit bad. I've been trying to build her as a normal DPS with the Hearts of Depth set, but despite being fairly lucky with Ganyu's gear, these ones just didn't want to drop. They mostly came as caps and never with the correct element. On one side, I could continue farming the domain and try and finish the Hearts of Depth set, give her the Solar Pearl and see how she comes out. On the other, I could go for a 2-piece Hydro set and 2-piece Noblesse Oblige with the Mappa Mare as a weapon and aim for decently high elemental mastery to keep raising her burst damage. Next one is Klee. I've been trying to play around with her, but her movements and range are a bit hard to get used to. Not to mention that her optimal DPS rotation apparently requires perfect frame cancelling on the first hit of her normal attack. She's going to need a 2-piece Gladiator and a 2-piece Crimson Witch too, and my luck with Gladiators has been abysmal so far. Alternatively, I could finally bite the bullet and build Diluc. His C1 might be put him on par with Klee in terms of damage, and him and Klee are the main reasons why I didn't pull for Hu Tao. She's honestly cute as hell, and I like spears a lot in this game, but pulling for a third pyro character while having 2 unbuilt ones didn't feel like a sound decision. Back to Diluc, he's currently got a refinement 4 prototype Archaic, and I still have the option to pick up a Blackcliff Slasher, but I would need to go back to the Pyro domain to farm for artifacts that would be almost exclusively for him. Also, I've seen a few damage comparisons and it looks like Diluc has fallen so hard from his top DPS spot that his face palmed into the ground. In order to keep up with Klee and Ganyu, he looks like he needs to have Jinchu as a crutch to proc Vaporizes off of. So in terms of investment, I might have to build 2 characters instead of 1 just to get the same DPS out of him. Another good option for an alternative main carry is going to be Ningguang. Again, she's going to need a 2-piece Gladiator and a 2-piece Petra, but that would also give me an excuse to go hunt for a replacement Sands and Circlet for Noel's Retracing Bolide. And I'm not gonna lie, I would build her just to have the Solar Pearl on her. Sucrose is another character I've been interested into due to her ability to share some of her elemental mastery. Sadly, she's still C0, but I'm not too worried about her constellations, they'll come in time. If I'm swapping MC's element though, she's likely to remain my only Anemo character and someone is going to have to carry that Viridescent set. Diona is pretty cute, but I'm not interested in building her right now. Beidou, on the other hand, I would love to raise if only for Zoe's voice actress. She's been holding on to some Thunder Suitor pieces, she's got the Serpent Spine on her, and she just needs some levels and talents. Sadly, she's still only C1, so I'm afraid I'll be sitting on her for a little while longer. At the moment, I don't even know which characters I'd want to pair with her. Maybe Mona for Electrocharged, maybe Ganyu for Superconduct, and have her as a physical carry. We'll see. Jinyan looks like she wants to be another physical carry slash shield support, and for the moment she's holding on to some lava walkers, but I have no plans to investing more into her. Kind of the same would go for all the boys down here, with the exception for Bennett. An extra character for Pyro Resonance, more attack buffs and an AoE heal are always going to be useful. Missed that C1 though, but again, that's going to come in time. As far as team comps go, this could be one. Or maybe this one, but I'm not too on board with this idea. A third option is going to be this one, and not only this is going to require less investment to bring up, it's also going to allow me to fix some already leveled up characters. I think I'll want a good Geo carry outside of whatever Noel is doing right now too. So Bennett is going to get leveled up no matter what, but I'm really split between Ningguang and Mona. In terms of farming, I've compiled a list of which characters would need which set, and it looks like I will get most mileage out of farming for Gladiators and Noblesse. Once Bennett will reach a decent point and I'll have some good pieces for Mona as well, I will probably move on to farming some more Crimson Witch for Klee, hoping that in the meantime I'll get some good enough Gladiators from all the bosses required to bring the trio up to level 80. After Klee, I will hopefully be able to move on to Ningguang as well. This is likely going to take the entirety of the 1.4 to complete, and it's also going to cost us more fortune. The skill levels alone for Bennett and Mona are going to take over 2 million Mora, which translates in more than 700 resin to spend on gold daylines alone. As for my new daily routine, I guess that means 1 open world boss, 2 gold daylines and 4 domain runs split between talent books and artifacts. Not that big of a change, to be honest. As for the gacha side, this is my banner history so far. Up to 6.8k Primogems and 100 fates saved up for a total of 142 pulls. I went 30 pulls deep trying to get Bennett on the last banner, but at this point, I'll just keep saving for Ayaka. Maybe. After all, I'm only 8 pulls away from the guaranteed double PT. I'm not going to pull on Dante's banner, and I will likely skip on Child again. Even if Rosaria gets released by then, she will likely follow Diona and Jin Yan in the standard pool right after her release banner is over, and since I'll mostly just want her for collection purposes, I can wait for a random banner pool or maybe another 4-star pickup event. 1.4 is going to be another 6 weeks of saving for me. One thing I've been wanting to figure out for a while has been what's the average Primogems income I'm getting, so to have a general idea about when I can expect to pull for a 5-star, and how long does it take to save enough for a double PT, because as always, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. For the standard banners, I have to admit that I've traded some Primogems for extra pulls, so the 2.5 months that went between one and the other are a bit skewed. Still, we get 5 Acquaint Fates every month from the shop reset, 5 more from the Battle Pass, maybe some more from events, and a few more from leveling up characters. If I wanted to take an average of 15 Acquaint rolls each month, it would actually take 6 months to hit the hard PT here. For the limited ones, I went back to track my Primogems amount from my old videos and I calculated the amounts I would have had today if I never pulled. Turns out that from October 14th until March 1st, I should have gotten close to 30,000 Primogems, which makes it an average income of 214 Primogems per day. In here, I forgot to add the Primogems I spent refreshing for Ganyus Gear though, which would put me at an average of 246 Primogems per day. From the daily stuff, it's 60 Primogems per day from commissions, 90 from the Welkin's Moon Pass, roughly 450 every 15 days from Abyss, because I'm still missing some stars, and then there's the Battle Pass which comes with 800 Primogems every 40 days, but locks them on the Acquaint Fates, and 1320, some of which come under the form of Intertwined Fates. In total, it all adds up to 233 Primogems per day. But if I only want to take into account the limited 5 stars, I'd be looking at a 211 daily income. So if I were to add up the story events, the giveaways, the achievements and so on, that average of 246 doesn't look too far-fetched. Still, this puts me at a sliver above 45 pulls a month, meaning I can expect to have enough rolls for a 5-star every 2 months and I'll be able to hit the 180 guaranteed PT every 4. If you're completely free to play, you can double that amount of time. This little realization has suddenly made me appreciate the longer banner duration and the banner reruns, but now I also kind of want to have enough rolls for at least 3 5-star characters saved up, just in case I miss a 50-50 and there's another characters I want to pull for that gets released within 2 months. Missing or having to skip on a character due to the lack of rolls is also going to put you in the position of having to wait around 6 months for that character to come back, which is more than enough to build another guaranteed PD pool, but would also only leave you with one possible 5-star to pull for during said 6 months. It's a bit of a delicate situation, but again, this is looking at the worst case scenario every time, which one can hope doesn't happen. So far, I've gotten all my 5 stars around the 70 rolls mark, with the exception of a couple of really lucky pulls. Hopefully not all the 50-50s fail either, which is going to leave a lot of extra rolls saved up for other characters' releases. Another thing I'm saving up are the paid Primogems from the Welkin Moon Pass. This could count as additional Primogems, but I think there's a good 99% chance that once we'll get character skins, accessories, pets or decorations sometime down the line, those might only be purchasable with paid currency. As for the future characters, the only official source we have is the presentation trailer for the game's chapters, but other than Ayaka and the Circus Twins, I'm not really interested in any other. On the not-so-official side, back when Ayaka was still available in the beta, she had a most curious line about another character, Yae Sakura. Apparently, she's a character from Honkai Impact, and if this bunny right here has a chance to come into Genshin, I will want to be prepared. This is a pretty old leak though, it's likely to be completely unreliable, and there's a chance that the name might be just a coincidence. On the other side, it's another MiHoYo IP, so I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually held a collaboration between the two games, or if they started porting some characters over. Since they like keeping the releases a secret and only reveal the new characters with the new version presentation for streams, and since it takes a pretty long time to be able to get a guaranteed character, I think it might not be a bad idea to start a second PT pool already. Alright then, that's going to be it for me for the moment. Hopefully I'm not trying to bite more than I can chew, but we'll see how the characters grow will progress during this 1.4 patch. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and see you soon. Ciao!